and you've read about them. You know who they are. I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness. All right, we didn't buy one player. All right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. We are witnessing the death of the Nick Saban era, and I love it. I'm here for it every single day. He finds himself in the media complaining, lying, making excuses. Nick Saban is like an old, out-of-touch politician. All he does, everything that comes out of his mouth at this point is a lie. He says he wants parity in college football. We all know that's not the case. He wants the advantage, and the advantage is slowly slipping out of his hands, and he cannot stand it. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about it. As always, do me a favor. Go ahead and smash that like button just below the video. It's quick, it's free, it's easy. It helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. If you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We are fans just like you. So if you like what we do, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. But let's jump into this article from ESPN.com. Alabama football coach Nick Saban says Texas A&M bought every player. Questions whether current NIL model is sustainable. That's what's so comical to me. He blames Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher blames somebody else. Lane Kiffin's always in the mix. Everybody is lying. Everybody is cheating. And everybody is crying about NIL in college football. Now, the article here says Alabama coach Nick Saban singled out Texas A&M for buying its top-ranked signing class and threw a spotlight on the unintended effect of the name, image, and likeness rights on recruiting during an event with local business leaders Wednesday night in Birmingham. Here's the quote we just heard. We were second recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team. I love that Nick Saban, I love that he speaks in absolutes. That they bought every player, every single player. He said made a deal for name, image, and likeness. Now, here's where it gets comical. Nick Saban says, we didn't buy one player, all right? Not one. No, not one. No, not one. Nick Saban did not buy one player. Everything was done legally and by the book. He would never cheat. He's never paid a player under the table. Never. He says, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it. It's tough. Saban said Alabama players made $3 million, again, doing it the right way, Saban says. We paid $3 million doing it the right way last year, and that only 25 players were able to leverage NIL opportunities. Now, the funny thing about all this is Jimbo Fisher, National Signing Day, he comes out in the media, goes absolutely crazy. I put a video out about that, kind of laughing about it. He goes on an epic rant. I'll link that video at the end of this one. Go back, check it out. He denies it all. Says they didn't pay anybody. Sick and tired of hearing about it. But the comical thing is Nick Saban, Alabama, whether you like it or not, Alabama fans, I know you're listening. I know you're going to be in the comment section living on the past decade of success. And you can't deny that. You can't deny what Alabama has done over the last 10 to 15 years on the field of play. But times, things, they are a-changing in 2022. And Alabama is now behind. And when Nick Saban comes out and says, well, we were only able to spend $3 million, but we did it the right way, you know what that tells me? They can't keep up because the NIL collective at Tennessee, Spire Sports Group, their goal is to raise $25 million every single year to spend on NIL opportunities. Alabama, a little bit lower, $3 million. That's what they spent, but they did it the right way, so don't get it twisted. They did it the right way. Nick Saban would never cheat, ever. The article goes on to say he isn't the first coach to call out the Aggies by name. In February, Ole Miss coach Lane Kiffin quipped Texas A&M was going to incur a luxury tax in how much they paid for their signing class. Now, again, that's comical. Another guy we can continue to see in the media is Lane Kiffin complaining about NIL and the way it's working in college football, but yet Lane Kiffin walks away with the number 2 ranked transfer portal class this season. So I think NIL probably played a little bit of a factor in that, Lane. Says here that prompted a stern response from Texas A&M coach Jimbo Fisher, former Saban assistant, during his signing day news conference the following day when he said the coaches were spreading rumors about deals promised to recruits were clown acts and irresponsible as hell. Of course, because Jimbo Fisher would never cheat. Jimbo Fisher would never break the rules. They are all lying, crooked politicians. That's what we are seeing in college football. Article goes on to say the problem with NIL, Saban said Wednesday, is coaches trying to create an advantage for themselves. Bingo! Nick Saban just nailed it, trying to create an advantage. You see, Nick Saban claims he wants parity in college football. He wants everybody on an even playing field. But what NIL does, it puts Nick Saban and Alabama at a disadvantage. They no longer have the advantage. Gone are the days of paying players under the table. We all know it's happening. We all know it's been going on for years. As long as they played college football, it's been happening. No longer can you pay a kid $50,000 under the table. It all has to be out front in the public eye. And when you've got rumors, allegedly Tennessee paying $8 million for a quarterback, when Nick Saban just said their entire team only made $3 million, do you think? Please tell me, please come in the comments and tell me how you think Alabama can possibly keep up when that's the case. They can't. That's why Nick Saban's pissed. That's why he's talking about advantages, because he no longer has the advantage. That's why Nick Saban's pissed. That's why one foot's out the door, and that's why it is the death of the Nick Saban era in college football. He will not adapt. He will not change. He will quit. He will pack up his ball and go home. Nick Saban is done. Mark my words. Saban said coaches know how much money is available from their school's collective. Bingo. A group of program supporters who pool their resources to offer deals to athletes, and how much he can promise every player. He says that's not what it was supposed to be. He says that's what it's become, and that's the problem in college athletics right now. Every player is saying, well, what am I going to get? And that's the truth. That is the world of college football. That's the game has changed. He goes on to say here that people blame the NCAA. And Saban says, in defense of the NCAA, we are where we are because of the litigation. Now, one of you guys came in the comment section and kind of threw that in my face when I blamed the NCAA. It is because of the litigation. The article goes on to say here, last summer, the Supreme Court upheld a lower court ruling that said limiting education-related benefits violated antitrust laws. In the wake of that decision, the NCAA adopted rules that were far less restrictive, including allowing athletes to profit from name, image, and likeness. It says NCAA rules prohibit a school or its employees only from paying athletes directly for their NIL rights. Here's the quote from Saban: if the NCAA doesn't get some protection from litigation, whether we got an antitrust or whatever it is from a federal government standpoint, this is not going to change because they cannot enforce their rules. Just like Alabama basketball coach Nate Oates said, we have a rule right now that says you cannot use name, image, likeness to entice a player to come to your school. Now, the reason I blame the NCAA versus the court is because the NCAA didn't have rules in place. The litigation came down, the NIL was off and running, and it was the Wild West in college athletics. The Wild West. The NCAA didn't take any time to kind of get things dialed in, and now we are where we are. You can deal with it or you can walk away. And that's what Nick Saban is going to do. Mark my words, it's coming. Here's more from Nick Saban. He's going to throw somebody else under the bus. He says, hell, read about it in the paper. Jackson State paid a guy $1 million last year that was a really good Division I player to come to the school. It was in the paper, and they bragged about it. If it doesn't tell you how old and out of touch Nick Saban is, the fact that he still reads the physical newspaper. It was in the paper, and they bragged about it. Nobody did anything about it. These guys at Miami, they're going to play basketball there for $400,000 in the newspaper. The guy tells you how he's doing it. Goes on to talk about Travis Hunter, the five-star prospect who flipped from Florida State and signed with Deion Sanders at Jackson State. Deion had a response to Coach Saban on Twitter. He says, you best believe I will address that lie Coach Saban told tomorrow. I was awakened by my son that sent me the article that said we paid Travis Hunter Jr. $1 million to play at Jackson State. We as people don't have to pay our people to play with our people. That's what Deion Sanders had to say. But again, the comical thing, the hypocrisy of all of this is, again, the magic number, $1 million. Nick Saban is irate that Deion Sanders would pay $1 million. But yet, just a little over a year ago, Nick Saban's in the media bragging. He's bragging about paying his quarterback $1 million. His quarterback making seven figures in NIL deals before he ever takes a snap. Nick Saban was fine with it at the time because he thought he had the advantage. The way things have played out over the last year, he realizes he does not have an advantage, and that's why Nick Saban is irate. That's why Nick Saban is in the media every day. That's why Nick Saban is going to Greg Sankey and complaining and asking for change because Alabama is behind. The death of the Nick Saban era is among us, and we will watch it play out over the coming year. Mark my words, he's on the way out the door. Hit that comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Is this the death of the Nick Saban era, or is Boogie crazy? Hit that comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Also, go check out the official merchandise of the Talkin VAWLS Network. You can go to bonfire.com/store/TalkinVAWLS. Any and all support greatly appreciated. What better shirt to buy than the Beat Bama shirt today? Brand new Beat Bama logo, customized different styles, color, whatever you want. Go check it out. But again, the link is bonfire.com/store/TalkinVAWLS. That's going to do it for this one. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.